Today, I'm going to talk in detail about specifically perimenopause, which is frankly the most difficult time period in the whole hormonal spectrum to manage as a patient and as a provider, because it's characterized by a roller coaster of up and down hormones that can create a whole bunch of different unpleasant symptoms. So let me start by defining it. It's not a strict medical definition. It's more just an understanding that, okay, we're no longer producing hormones in that very organized manner, and we're still producing hormones, so we're not menopausal. So peri, meaning around the time of menopause, applies to that time when our hormones are starting to change, but we're still making them. So what are the characteristics of perimenopause? Well, we're still releasing estrogen, we're still ovulating, although probably not regularly. So what can happen is we start having periods that are less regular. We might skip some. They might ironically be closer together. So instead of every 28 days, they might be every 25 days or every 21 days, because that ovulation is not occurring as regularly anymore. So we're still making lots of estrogen, and we're making less progesterone, because as our ovaries get older, when we release the egg, it's just not as strong anymore. We're not making those large amounts of progesterone. And so what happens when we're estrogen dominant? Well, we're making lots of estrogen and less progesterone. So the uterine lining loves estrogen. We grow lots of uterine lining, and we don't have as much progesterone to counter that effect, which is one of the wonderful things that progesterone does. It helps our period to be lighter. So when we have estrogen dominance, we sometimes have heavier periods. Sometimes they can be really heavy. They can last longer. You can skip them altogether, or you can have them closer together. So it's characterized by just lack of consistency. The characteristic of perimenopause is we don't really know what's going to happen. It can be all over the place. And as a result, we can feel like we're all over the place as far as symptoms. Now, if you think about when we were younger and our estrogen was going up and down in a nice, generally pretty manageable manner, when we're perimenopausal, we can have really high highs. Ironically, the estrogen can get higher than it used to be, and then really low lows. So ironically, within the very same month, we can experience symptoms of high estrogen, like breast tenderness, water retention, bloating, gaining fat around the middle, moodiness, tearfulness, all of those type of symptoms that if you've been pregnant, they're kind of similar to what we might have in early pregnancy when estrogen shoots up very, very high. It's generally not considered as pleasant, let's just say. So those are high estrogen symptoms. And then after ovulation, instead of just a nice slow decrease, it's a very, very steep crash in estrogen, taking us to the time of our cycle. And at that time, our estrogen can be so low that we actually experience low estrogen symptoms, even menopausal type symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness. Those can occur just right around those few days that our estrogen is very low.